Oh, yeah.
So just a couple of quick announcements before we get started with Alex Martinez's presentation this evening. This Saturday at 7:30 p.m. we'll have a 5280 dine around at the Blue Bonnet, and we'd love for as many of you to join us as possible. It's 5280 for 4 people, so for $13 you can get several courses of Blue Bonnet food. So if you're interested, please RSVP to Christine Coughlin. It's coughlin.christine@gmail.com, and just send her a message and she'll add you to our list of people going to happy hour. Also, next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. in this room, we'll have our winter quarterly meeting, and we'll discuss the ASIST officer roles and talk about planning stuff for spring quarter. So if you're interested in being involved with ASIST next year, that would be a really good meeting to attend. All right. So I'm going to turn it over to...
If you've never been to Blue Bonnet, go.
Yeah, it's great. So Josh is going to introduce Alex.
Hey guys, so we have the pleasure of having Alex Martinez talking to us today. He's the senior educational web developer for the Office of Teaching and Learning here at DU. He's spearheaded a lot of major educational applications and their development on campus. He's worked on course media, which of course, or well, you guys may have used, but it's for the distribution of copyrighted video through the library. He's going to talk to us about VideoManager, which is our online video kind of, don't want to say archiving, but preservation and sharing system. And he's done a lot of other great things here at DU. So without further ado.
Thank you. That was nice. All right, well, thanks a lot. I'll just get started with a little bit of history, background. I've been here roughly about 12 years at DU. I was hired initially as a instructional designer. My master's degree is in organizational learning, instructional technologies. I got the degree at University of New Mexico down in Albuquerque. I'm from New Mexico, but I've been here now 12 years, and I was gonna just talk to you about VideoManager and what I do nowadays. Since I've been here at DU, I've been doing lots of things. I've been a programmer. I've been an adjunct professor in the Digital Media Studies program. I used to teach web application development for about 8 years. I've been teaching IA now for about 3 years, and that's really what I do nowadays. I don't program as much, but I lead projects, project management, information architecture. So I'm going to kind of explain what IA is, and I'm also going to, at the same time, explain what VideoManager is through this really cool Prezi presentation, my first one ever, so let's see how it goes. So let's start here. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so I'll start off with what is IA. Got a lot of definitions out there as far as what IA is. But ultimately, I feel it's like kind of the art and science of designing a great user experience for websites, making people happy with their user experience. It's also about making sure that the technology that you're designing and developing and working on gets adopted. You know, to me, that's one of like the most critical things. In the past, I've sometimes worked with projects that for whatever reason they don't get adopted. in my eyes, that's a failure. You know, you've spent a lot of time, a lot of money, and it just never got adopted. So when you have good technology adoption, that's a really good return on investment. Happy customers is always good business. You know, people spread the word. We don't do that much advertising through VideoManager, but yet, you know, we've had over 700 people log in and start using it already. It's about also saving time and money because, you know, the whole information architecture process, kind of like on the right-hand side here, it's really about doing a lot of research, really figuring out what what this project has to do, what does the system have to do. Really kind of focused on like, okay, well, how is searching and browsing going to happen within the system? So now that you do have over 1,000 videos in your system, you know, what system are you going to put in place before you have all those 1,000 videos go into the system so that people can search and browse the stuff? Thinking about like how are you going to label stuff? Like when you're categorizing material, how are you going to label all this information? Navigation, again, what type of navigational systems are you going to have for users? Content organization, and then it's information science. You know, it's bringing all the principles that you're learning here in the program and really applying them to a project. It's a lot of fun. All right, so I put this little slide here together. I'll go over the building blocks of IA, and I've already kind of mentioned this already. So research, you know, is about really working with a lot of people. So you got to have the personality also for this type of job. You can't be shy and in a corner. IA people are really kind of like, they like talking with people because you have to acquire information about how people are going to be using the system. Understanding a bit about technology, you know, pros and cons of different types of technology is always important. Resources, that could be time, money, people. You know, you got to figure out, you know, what resources you have, and as well as constraints. The content that you're dealing with. Are you dealing with just videos? Are you dealing with videos, images, and audio? And in what format? How many? There's all these things you got to figure out with the content. Business goals. Ultimately, you know, there's always like a business goal. It's like, what's the objective of this whole system? You know, what does it have to do? In our case, in VideoManager, you know, we did not have a university system to manage video, and as a result, we had video just everywhere, just scattered around everywhere. It was a really big mess. So our business goal was to make sure that we kind of centralize all this video, catalog it, one standard format. You know, you do a lot of analytics. You study. You know, sometimes I work on other projects, and sometimes there is an existing website, and if there is an existing website, hopefully there's analytics behind the scenes, so you can study the analytics to see what people are using the most. And you just, a lot of like, what's out there? You know, what is really out there already that people, because, you know, sometimes you encounter a problem, someone's already solved it. Somewhere, somehow, they've already solved it. So you got to do a lot of research to figure out. So the next part of IA, I feel, is planning. You really you got to be a good planner. There's a lot of strategy involved. Strategy and meaning like, okay, who are the right people to talk to? Who can actually, you know, push this project along? Because you will encounter resistance, you know, even within your small team, but also like a university-wide project, you will encounter resistance. So what is your strategy that you're going to implement to deal with these challenges? A lot of discovery meetings, keeping stuff organized. I use Basecamp as a project management tool, and I just store everything in Basecamp, because what happens is that there's a lot of activity in projects, but then a year from now, that all that activity is gone. It's lost. You know, the meeting notes, the discussions that took place, the decisions that were made, why they were made, all that's lost. And so as people come and go from the project, it's like starting from scratch every single time. You got to be well organized. You got to have a system in place to manage all that information. And just, you know, lots of interviews. You just talk to them. As you can probably tell, I don't mind talking. So you gotta chat. You gotta chat with the folks. All right. So metadata. Okay. So now we're dealing with here comes your information science hat. You know. So we're talking about videos. So what is some type of metadata that we're collecting? We have date, year, title, description, file size, speakers, keywords, duration of the videos, whether it belongs to a series or not, whether it belongs to a department, who are the owners. All that information was never, ever captured before for DU video. So now we're this plus more. We're collecting a lot of information behind the scenes. Most importantly, we're collecting it at the right time. Because most people, sometimes you may land on a project, and Steve here, he could probably speak to this. Cataloging happens at the end. And by then, that's hard. It's hard cataloging information or an object once it's already been out there for a while. You don't know who the owner of it was. You don't know the context of what this object was about. Like in video, we had all these archival videos, and we're just like, literally just these weird ambiguous file names. You just click on it, and there you are like, what is this? It's like, when did this take place? Who are these people? It's like, what department is this? That's hard. So, part of the process is identifying a workflow program. So our workflow project, for example, this is part of IA is communication. How do you communicate? Well, in IA, you communicate with diagrams. I create lots of diagrams, from the starting point, ending point, and collecting metadata here and there along the way. So communicating that, though, those ideas is always like a role of what IA people do, just document them all. And then we create sitemaps, it's like to understand more or less, what type of, this is just an example of sitemap here. But here's a wireframe. I just created this last week. So the next phase of our project is actually to create a university TV station, online television type of station. We have thousands of videos, and we also have live events always happening here at DU. But no one knows where these live events are actually happening, or when, or what they are. And we have thousands now of videos in our system that are public videos. So, well, since we have all this video, let's create a television channel. And so every interested department can have their channel. They can have a video here. They have different playlists down here. And this is what I call a wireframe. And in my class, we actually practice developing these tools. I introduce you to the software that I use to actually create all these wireframes, these sitemaps, these flowcharts. That's what you do in class. You just draw. It's a really fun class. You're constantly just drawing things. On paper. It initially starts on paper, but then once you start getting like a feel for like, okay, this is good enough now to go online and try to draw this out. So this is an example of Gliffy. There's a free version of Gliffy, and I make that. But I use different tools. Yeah. All right. Oh, real quick. This is Rosenfeld is an author, teaches IA at Michigan, the Library Information Science program, one of the leading experts in IA. And they always they refer to this little Venn diagram here as like, this is what really IA is all about. It's really understanding your users, your content, and the context that this is all about. And so there's a lot of research here. And this is kind of like the science, the fun part of development right now. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Woo! Okay, I've already kind of mentioned this. So here comes VideoManager now. So I've already done, ideally IT projects are about solving problems. Our problem was that we had very difficult time managing video. Thousands of video. We had no privacy controls of video. This is actually a picture. Even in this building right now, there's down there. If I was to point to the first floor, there's interview rooms. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but the early childhood folks use these rooms. Well, how do you share that private video with people? You can't right now with that technology. Unfortunately, you can't. And so our system, as long as we get someone to actually upload the video into our system, you could create groups of people to actually, well, who is actually allowed to actually watch this video, with their banner ID numbers. You can invite all these people that have to log in, and they're the only ones that have access to these confidential videos. That was a problem that we're trying to solve. Other problem is that we had too much, we have video in multiple formats, and then the problem of, that poor lady just can't find her video. So that was one of the problems that we're trying to solve. So I like this picture a lot because in my IA class, I really talk about it's about IA is about really helping people find stuff. It's the art and science of finding information. And in this world of millions and millions of objects here and there, you need IA people that have the web skills, but also information science skills to help people find information. That's a big part of IA. How am I doing with time?
Yeah.
20 minutes? Okay. All right, so I love Prezi. Prezi is really cool. So we started sketching out some ideas. Okay, so what is VideoManager? Based on our problem, so VideoManager had to be quick and simple to use, kind of like YouTube. You just like, okay, I have this video that I just took on my phone. Can VideoManager accept that? Yes. And we almost accept any type of video format. So, and you just kind of just upload it into the system, multiple formats. We collect metadata from the start. Just from the start of when especially with events. There's a lot of events happening here. So if you wanted to, maybe there's a more famous speaker besides myself coming to you and talking. You schedule those events through our videographers, the library. But from that point on, we start collecting metadata. Because that request metadata is now the beginning of the object in our system. The title, the person that requested the event, the date of the event, the time of the event, where the event took place. All that metadata now lives with the video. And as the video once it's shot and it's actually in the process of, in this process of video being shot and in post-production work and the final product, all that metadata is being collected behind the scenes. And then once the video is ready, we send it back to the video owner, asking them to fill out more information about the video, such as keywords, and tagging the video on the timeline. So if it is a long video, you can actually go into the video and start like multiple speakers. You could actually say, okay, at this point, so-and-so started talking. At this point, so-and-so started talking. And all that metadata helps with navigation, but also helps with, searching for the video later on. We had to provide embed code. It had to play on iOS and flash devices. It had to collect analytics. So every time that video was played from our system, we knew about it. So that a year from now or 5 years from now, if we notice that videos they're not being played, then we could go back to the owner and say, hey, this video here that you uploaded hasn't been seen in the last 5 years. But if you're not going to use it, please remove it from our system. If they don't respond, we take it off. But you need that accountability. Because previously people were just throwing all these videos on the server, and no one knew who the owner was, if they were being viewed, or should we take them offline? We didn't know that. So we collect all this metadata now, and to help us manage our collection of videos. Large storage, privacy controls. Here's my to-do list. Talked to a lot of videographers. All the videographers, that were involved with this project, we had lots of meetings with them. We discussed with the library, with Sheila, we're still working on this piece, but like, okay, significant events. The presidential debate was here. What do we do with that video? So should we archive that video? Yeah, of course we should archive that video. We should have a process in place to make sure that video, that the object itself and the video metadata goes along into the more permanent, library system. Call IT. We need storage. We need lots of storage, actually. We have about 5 terabytes of storage for this project right now. So that'll give us some storage for a while, for a few years. We need to build control vocabularies. It's like, well, okay, we need a list of like all the DU departments. So that when people are actually identifying themselves, they're just a list of DU departments. They don't start writing whatever Penrose or academic comments. It's a standard list of departments on series as well. We have all these series happening around campus. Even people, significant people at the university. The chancellor. You'd be surprised how many ways you can actually spell or identify the chancellor. You know, you could Chancellor Kuhn, Chancellor Robert Kuhn, Chancellor his initials. I mean, Bob. You know, you gotta have a standard way, and then who's the chancellor, and then wireframe. That's a big part of my job is just creating wireframes so my programmers I work with kind of know the direction of the project. Okay. I'm almost there. Okay, so this is actually what a picture of what our it's kind of bright in here, but I have the video, but here's a bookmarking picture on the right. And so this is the video. It's like, let me see it. It's an hour and 30 minutes, I think, long. And so here, what you see on the right hand side is the key speakers at different moments of time. So you know exactly at what time so and so actually got on stage and started talking. And these are clickable. You can actually click on them and just go straight to the speaker that you're really interested in hearing. That's all metadata. That metadata lives with the object. So our results so far have been really great. So as of August, last August, let's see if I can just blow this up a little bit. We've had about 1,700 videos uploaded. About 715 are public videos. These are videos that should be shared with the public. And then we have these private videos that they're kind of like in this limbo that we don't know what they're kind of private. Sometimes they're used like for example, I have videos that I create on how to create software. They're not really public, but I use them in my class. They're in my Blackboard course, so you can see how I design all these diagrams. So that's kind of what that represents. Group videos. The group videos represent like these private confidential group videos that I was talking about earlier. 837. This is a very popular feature. This is taking off. Like all these departments love this feature. How many gigs so far? We're getting there. We're growing at a fast rate. Memory, as far as the system is concerned. These are some of the folks that are using it: social work, public speaking classes, law school, musical. These are kind of our power users right now. So it's interesting. So I hope that explains how VideoManager from an IA perspective. That's what I really wanted to show you. It's like this process of how project management, IA people, what role do they play? And because programmers are, bless their heart, they're great people, but they need some direction sometimes, and sometimes they're not the most sociable people. Yeah. So someone has to take the lead to actually communicate with the stakeholders. Someone has to have lots of meetings and write this down and start drawing all these wireframes and then passing those requirements on to the developers. So if I could see. I was going to actually log in back. Yeah, VideoManager just show you a lot of stuff. You think it's okay to go there? I'll just give you a quick video. Yeah, I'll take any questions though. Any questions? Yes, sir.
You were saying if a video hasn't been watched, it can be removed from the
Yes, sir.
system. It's not destroyed, right, or erased. It's just put somewhere else.
It depends on what type of video it is. So, sometimes people are just testing the system. They're just uploading these little files. They're interesting files. I don't know who's using them. They don't look significant to me.
Right.
So, so we send out an email and we look at the videos before we.
Right.
If they're cataloged though as a series, a part of a DU series, or they other tag words like chancellor are. So we have this like algorithm that goes in and figures out kind of what the good stuff is and what the bad, the. Go ahead, Pat. Oh, sure.
So some could be erased, but I'm just throwing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we encourage people, like, for example, if you do own a video, these are all the videos in the queue right now. They're actually pending review. But if you do have a video, oh, let's see. That's right. You need to stop sharing and then reshare. Oh, where is it? Hi, Maria. Oh. Wow, Maria's been around for a while. She knows the history of the project. And yes, this actually, there was a lot of student interest behind this project too. Okay. Going back, Steve, going back to your question here, we do give the owner of the video the ability to just download the video. So if they do want to like save it later on their hard drive and they've been given a warning, feel free to download your video. That's a new feature, yeah. Yeah, that's a new feature. And so this is VideoManager. So this is like one of my tutorials I was talking about. So it's great for tutorials if people how to create software tutorials. Let your instructors know. This is new, so a lot of instructors don't know that this even exists. But here's the dashboard. And I'm an admin, and so I get to see more than most folks when they go into the system. Remember that metadata I was talking about, like from the very, very start? Well, here's an example. Let's see, what's a good one? Oh, here's a good one. So this was like one of the biggest problems. This is like the first thing that we were focused on doing, the request of the video. That's when that went from it's good for library information science perspective. Remember I told you it's so important to try to get that metadata from the start, from when that object was created. This was the very first thing that we actually built, was this request form. Because from here on out, woohoo, we were like, okay, great, we got a title, we got some, location, we got information as far as like, whether it was a special event, whether it belonged to a series, the dates and times, the contact people, so I know this sounds silly, but this was critical. This was critical when it comes to like other digital projects. If you could get it from the beginning, whew, everything is easy after that. It's like, yes, that was a big accomplishment for us. That's the request process every time people want a new video. And this is like what you're seeing here is like the different stages of video. So there's like post-production events, like once the video has been taken, that it goes into post-production, pre-production, and then final complete. So, this is all the videos. So.
Now, you have nothing to do with creation of the video, right? You're not out.
No, we just manage the video process. Yeah.
One of my problems is, one of my pet peeves is, DU has no policy about you have to record this event. I've been to big events and we're never recording.
Yes.
It's totally hit and miss.
Yes.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
So someday, hopefully, we'll get some kind of policy about this has to be recorded.
Yeah. So a series. If we have anytime this particular series happens, it has to be recorded.
Right.
So I agree with you.
There was no policy that presidential debates had to be recorded.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
Question.
Yeah.
So, for those that don't know, ACES uses VideoManager to store all of our tech bytes. And so, one of my questions is, all of those are under my name right now?
Yes.
And when I leave to you,
assign someone else in the order. So it'd be like, this is like some videos like, you Friday group. This is a series that Josh and I actually worked on. Here's a video. Here's that embed code that folks get. And then this is really cool. With
8719. Which not going. You have to do it up above in that one. 8719 14246.
So you just now assigned it to Josh. So using the DUID number, we could just pull up your first name, last name, your email, and just attaches it to the system. So not only does metadata have to be, like, for example, this is really cool. We have suggestive search, so suggestive search, so
Digital.
digital. See? So part of good metadata is making sure you have suggestive search, so to eliminate spelling error. They know all that. So, those are things that you have to make sure you pass on to the programmer so it won't be built. Yes.
So I've done some SEO content writing or search engine optimization content writing, and literally what I do is just a bunch of link building. Can you speak to how that plays into information architecture?
SEO?
Yeah,
Well,
or does it?
as SEO, the objective of SEO is to find, articles, right? Discovery.
Right.
And so that metadata is essential for crawlers to
Right.
find your information. So that has to be a process of making sure that gets implemented at some stage of the process. Other questions? Oh yeah, no, that's actually been around for a while. So this is that right there, that code. You just copy and paste that into your player.
Oh, awesome. So, is there a way to do like a public, I don't know. I don't know how to work this, but like, since we tag all of our videos with the tech bites, can we like view them all on a screen? If that makes sense. Yeah. If you,
That sounds like something for the player, the
Player.
channel that's coming up.
Yeah, and so that's part of our next phase is that you have a playlist.
okay.
So a playlist feature. So you might have you set your primary video, but then you have all these related videos. So going back to our public channel page, so every department could have their default. This is the first video that needs to show up, and then these are all the related ones after that. So that's on the list.
You know when that's happening.
Hopefully in May. I know. So that's okay. But I want to show you this little feature here. This is actually how we go into any point in the video and start adding content. And so you can see here that it's pretty easy to do. And then as you roll over them, you can see the metadata as well. That was huge in terms of like super cool from a instructor perspective, because instructors are using this now to give feedback to students. So if you're in my class, by the way, you're going to be recorded, and I'm going to give you feedback through this. I'm going to actually just sit down and just record it, and I'll send you a link to the video, and you can just watch the video again, see how you did your presentation, and you'll see my comments on the right-hand side. And then they're clickable. So if you start playing the video, you click on any one of these, and they're correct.
Very useful.
Yeah, that was a biggie.
If you ever get where these transfer over to the embed code now as well, right?
Yeah.
So you can have it on your site.
Very cool.
Yeah, so long presentations like this, someone could go in and just add bookmarks. So that's about it. Yeah. I exceeded my time a little bit, sorry.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Enjoy it.
Number 3 on the way, that's great.
It's gonna be awesome.
Thanks, Josh.
See you tomorrow, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and Kevin?
Yeah, I am. You were cataloging, so I sat next to you. Like,
I know, I was like, I'm pretty sure I've talked to you during catalog.
Yeah, you did talk to me.
Okay.
Because I asked you how you were feeling. You were like sick or something. Maybe that's why you were being so loopy.
Well, yeah, no, I totally thought you were in there. I totally knew you were in there. I was just being